I won!
That's a good play!
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has paid over $57 billion in prizes and contributed over $8 billion to Rhode Island's general fund. Your Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for 50 years and counting.
Well, after the 2024 NECBL Championship Series took a brief hiatus due to rain, we are back and ready to continue the 2024 Championship Series between the Newport Gulls and the Sanford Mainers on this sunny Saturday afternoon in Newport. Welcome into Cardines Field. I'm Sam Reese, and for those who need to be caught up, back on Thursday night in Sanford, the Gulls took a 7-0 lead in Game 2 of this championship series before the game went into a delay and was ultimately suspended in the 5th inning due to rain. And after more rain was in the forecast yesterday, the league made the decision to resume that Game 2 from 2 nights ago. That started in Sanford, here in Newport. So that game will pick up with Newport up 7-0. If the Gulls hold on to win, then they would force a decisive Game 3, which would follow after that right here at Cardines Field. Safe to say, plenty at stake today. We can say positively that there will be a champion decided today here on the City by the Sea. We've got plenty coming up on, I guess it's a pregame show. It's Championship Saturday preview show is what we'll call it. So stick around. We've got some interviews coming your way on a sunny day in Newport. Welcome back into what we're calling a Championship Saturday preview rather than a traditional pregame show, I guess, because of the fact that we're picking up from where we left off in Game 2 a couple nights ago. I'm Sam Reese, now joined by General Manager and President of the Gulls, Chuck Pava. Chuck, sun is out, beautiful baseball weather. How pleased are you that this worked out where we're finally going to get to resume this series?
Oh, extremely pleased for these young men who have been grinding all season and they're ready to go home, but they're here to play, and it comes down to one game, one day, and it doesn't get any better than that. The sun's out, we're blessed today, and yeah, this place is going to be exciting game today. It's exciting, yeah.
So just going back to Thursday quickly, because obviously that was not the scenario anyone wants to run into in a championship series where all of a sudden it starts downpouring in that 5th inning. And it was a delay for about an hour before the decision was made to suspend that game. Can you sort of take everyone through what the process was like in terms of you talking with Sean McGrath, their GM, and all the conversations that took place to ultimately make the decision to not only suspend that game, but not resume it until today and here at Cardines?
Well, it was quite intensive conversations between the umpires, both general managers, the league administration, and both coaches, frankly. We wanted to get it right. They wanted to get it right. The umpires were just driven to try to get 9 innings in. We all thought it was gonna happen, but the weather did change on us, and so when that happened, we discussed, well, how long do we go before we bring this tarp out? And once the game gets going, it's in the umpire's hands, right? So the umpire felt that ball was slippery when Cole was pitching. That's when he banged it right at that time. And then we talked about it in the clubhouse about trying to resume it, but we weren't sure if the weather was going to let up. When we saw a window of about 20 minutes open up, we thought, let's go out there and try to get 2 more outs or just keep going as long as we can.
Sure.
So it took 20 minutes to get the tarp off, and by the time the tarp came off, it started raining again. So at that point, we're all out there standing, and the conversation was, well, it's no different than it was when we just pulled the guys off the field. So I don't think we're going to be playing again unless we're going to tarp this and sit around for 3 hours. But the rain wasn't going to let up. So anyway, in the long run, we all came to the same conclusion. The interesting part is we were, by league rule, supposed to go back up there and finish this game. But we made a point with their GM that, the score was 7-0.
Yeah.
If it was 1-0, it's different. But it's 7-0. You're going to make us come back up here for 2 outs, or continue this.
Sure.
And we're so close, and he agreed to come down here, which was admirable on their part. And then rather than us going up there for a trip and them having to come back. So we got it right, hopefully, and we get a chance to finish this game here and hopefully play a championship game.
Yeah, that's certainly the hope. And you sort of answer what my next question was going to be in terms of how much the scoreline influenced that decision, which it seems like it did a fair bit. So,
It did.
Yeah, and so in terms of how the team played before that delay ultimately played a big role in determining that. So how pleased were you with how the guys came out in that hostile environment? Sanford, a team who had never clinched the title on home turf. That place was absolutely packed. For your players and for the Gulls to come out the way they did, put up those 5 runs in that 5th inning right before the delay to jump out to a 7-0 lead, that had to please you a lot.
Oh, extremely. I mean, every run in those situations are pleasing. You know, you get the first run, you go, okay, we got to run, great. And then you get a couple more and you go, yeah, that's awesome. And then when that shortstop booted the ball and we got 2 more there, and I was like, oh, that helps a lot. So, you know, the 7-run lead is a nice cushion to feel confident. But listen, I've been in so many of these games, and we've seen too many here at Cardines this summer that you can't sit on a 7-run lead here. In fact, their general manager said to me, Chuck, it'd be easier for us to come back if we went to Cardines Field because we can score runs there. He goes, it's going to be harder for us to score runs here. But that was part of his argument with me about keeping us to go up there when I said, well, but the score's 7-zip.
Right.
So anyway, that's how that worked out.
It's definitely an interesting situation. And one of the last few questions I have for you is, obviously, to your point, the team was rolling up 7-0, but also going off of what you just said, it's bottom of the 5th, 1 out. So really still half of this ball game is left to be played. So the fact that, you know, the Gulls kind of had all the momentum there, how confident are you still that even though we're resuming this game 2 days later, that your guys can still get it done? And what are some of sort of the pros and the cons with the situation?
Well, I think the most important factor at the moment is you have a different pitcher coming in now with a guy on first and second and 1 out. So that changes the complexity of his outing. Right away, he's in a pressure situation. He has to get outs, throw strikes. You can't get in a situation where we go out there first and second and then you walk a guy, and then maybe another situation, then all of a sudden a double cleans the bags and it's a different game. So Nick's got a lot of pressure on him to go out and just execute quickly and get us back in the dugout, and then let these guys offensively keep doing what they're doing right now and get us to that championship game. That's all that matters, you know?
100%. And one final question for you, Chuck. Really appreciate the time, as always. Even though it was a little unorthodox and unordinary in terms of how the series got back to Cardines, you guys clinched the title on the road last year. So just to have the potential opportunity to win it all in front of your home fans here in Newport on a Saturday in August, what would that mean?
Sam, I think about all those things. I run these things. There's a lot of history here, right? Sanford celebrated twice on this field. So we remember that. When we went up there and won a championship, it was like redemption one time, but Sanford's beat us a couple times, you know, in our home park. We have not won a championship here since 2009 against Vermont. And we had a similar situation. I remember walking by this batting cage that's over here and talking to a couple of the players, and they were all so confident. We got this, Chuck. We got this. We got this. Mike Melillo in particular. And then Mike hit a 3-run homer to win it. So it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. That Sanford team, by the way, is very good. So, and we're going to see a good pitcher from them. So it's going to be a grind. We're not taking anything for granted. We need to win the first one first, and then take the next one 1 inning at a time. Like Coach says, 1 pitch, 1 out, 1 inning at a time. You know, because that's what's going to happen in the championship game if we can get there.
All right, thanks so much for the time, as always, Chuck. Big day here in Newport as the Gulls try to close out the resumption of Game 2 and ultimately force a Game 3 and win it on home territory here at Cardines Field. That's Chuck Pava. I'm Sam Reese. We'll be back with more on a Championship Saturday preview show after a break. Stick around.
Welcome back inside the Newport Gulls pregame show. Championship Saturday doubleheader. 6:30, second game, 4 o'clock, first game over on ESPN Plus. I'm now joined by Coach Coombs. Coach, obviously kind of a chaotic situation. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, that's
You know, I don't always drink Gatorade, but when I do,
You need ice?
I drink orange Gatorade.
You're kind of like the most interesting man in the world. Do you remember those
You
commercials?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Exactly.
That was a commercial.
Yeah, that was a great
We shouldn't
commercial.
have broke to commercial break that quick.
No.
So I messed that up.
But Championship Saturday, obviously kind of a chaotic situation on Thursday and with the rain out and stuff. How are you managing pitching specifically, kind of keeping arms fresh, also getting an off day? That's a big help for getting some arms, and now Cade most likely will go in Game 3. But how are you managing all that and keeping bullpen arms fresh?
Well, I just call Kevin and say it's on you. Call Teddy and say it's on you. And Beck's team pick up any slack that they don't know. Jacob, and that's my position to do that. Now, the final line is somebody goes into the game, I have to give it my okay. Or I put a hitter in, or do not put a hitter in, or whatever, defensive, move or whatever. But those guys are the guys that keep it all together. I'm just over here probably thinking about the 7th inning. If I'm at 5, if I'm at 2, I would go to about the 4th, think about that. And then if we get through this first game, then I got to be thinking about who we're going to start in the night count.
And in that case, when you're in the second thinking about the 4th, you're thinking about offense, defense, pitching as a whole, correct?
Correct. How did you know that?
Lucky guess.
No, you well-educated guess. That's a good one. You must be hanging around Sam.
I might be hanging around too much.
Sam knows his business too.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He's a smart man.
I got a business degree in college, so I could be in everybody's business.
Of course.
But then they kicked me out and they said,
It didn't work?
no, I had to take a PE major.
Okay.
Those that can, those that can't teach.
Of course.
And those that can't teach PE.
Well, we have a failed gym teacher here, but your 12th season in Newport, 05 to 2015, and then obviously the next year in 2018, and now you're back now.
Yeah.
Kind of how would you summarize this 12th season and just sum it up?
13?
13th. I miscounted.
13?
I had it at 12.
Is this 12? For me.
I don't know.
Whatever. What was the question? I forgot to take my Prevagen. Sorry.
Just summarize this 12/13
God,
season
yeah.
and kind of summarize the whole
Great.
thing.
The only thing I would change, them bus rides are horrible. And if I could just be the home field manager and let Teddy and all them go, because then I would hang out at the restaurants, shopping and sightseeing and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be better for me.
Any advice to that guy in 2005? What would you tell him? Well, before he managed his first game with Newport.
Who?
You.
Me?
You. Yeah. What advice would you give to yourself in 2005?
2005, I pretty much left them alone, let them play. There was once when I had to get on a kid for not running out of a pop-up. He didn't see the next game for about a week. And then he straightened himself out and did a good job. But other than that, at this level in summer baseball, you got to let these guys play. Respect the game. Respect your opponent. Play the game hard. If you can do all those things, good things will happen.
There you go. That's Coach Coombs. We tried to keep it short and sweet for him, but he kind of derailed it a little bit. 4 o'clock first pitch over on ESPN Plus. Sam Reese will wrap you up here as the Newport Gulls pregame show rolls on.
As always, we really appreciate the time granted to us from Chuck Pava and Mike Coombs all summer long, and here on this Championship Saturday preview on the Newport Gulls broadcast network. That just about does it for our final pregame preview show of the summer. There will be a champion decided tonight here in Newport. A reminder, it's a resumption of Game 2 from a couple of nights ago taking place here in Newport. Things will pick up in the bottom of the 5th inning. With one out, the Gulls are up 7-0. That'll be at 4 o'clock, the resumption. And then if Newport can hold on, there will be a decisive Game 3 with first pitch at 6:35. You can catch both of those games on ESPN+. But that does it here on a Championship Saturday preview. I'm Sam Reese. Thanks so much for tuning in.
I won!
That's a good play!
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has paid over $57 billion in prizes and contributed over $8 billion to Rhode Island's general fund. Your Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for 50 years and counting.